Friends, most traders spend their time trying to avoid stress. They believe that if they could just get rid of stress, they would make better decisions, feel more confident, and become consistently profitable. But the author presents a completely different perspective. He says that stress itself is not the problem. The real problem is how we understand stress and how we respond to it. Because the very thing that breaks one trader mentally can make another trader stronger than ever before. The difference lies in how that pressure is interpreted and managed. In this lesson, you'll discover why successful people are able to stay mentally strong, even when they're dealing with intense pressure, uncertainty, and difficult situations. You'll learn how they remain focused when others become overwhelmed. And most importantly, you'll learn how to turn trading stress from a weakness into one of your greatest advantages. Now there's one important thing you need to understand. Everyone deals with stress differently. There's no single formula that works for every person. Some people go for a walk when they feel stressed. Some listen to music. Some write in a journal, while others step away from work for a while to clear their mind. That's why, when you become your own trading coach, one of the most important skills is learning to recognize your own patterns. You need to understand how you naturally react when pressure starts building. Because the day the market puts you under serious mental stress is the exact day you'll need your most effective stress management strategy. The problem begins when stress becomes overwhelming. At that point, we often stop acting consciously and start operating on autopilot. We fall back on old habits and behaviors that have been deeply wired into us over the years. Avoiding uncomfortable situations, putting off difficult conversations, or simply ignoring a problem and hoping it goes away. Maybe those habits worked in a previous job or in other areas of life. But the market doesn't work that way. The market doesn't reward people for avoiding reality. If you're taking losses and continue avoiding the truth of what's happening, those losses usually get bigger. That's why Dr. Brett makes a very important point. The response that feels most natural to you is not always the response that is most effective. Successful traders understand this. They don't rely solely on their instincts or old habits. Instead, they build new and better strategies, so they don't keep falling into the same traps again and again. Now friends, there's one mistake I see many traders make. They respond to stress with excessive aggression. Their mindset is simple. If there's a challenge, attack it harder. And in business, careers, or even personal life, that approach can sometimes produce results. But in trading, it can become extremely dangerous. Think about it. A trader has just gone through 3 or 4 losing trades in a row. He's already frustrated. His confidence has taken a hit. And then he tells himself, I'll prove the market wrong on the next trade. So what does he do? He increases his position size, takes on more exposure, accepts more risk, and starts trading more aggressively than before. But here's the serious problem. At that moment, his mind is operating with the least amount of clarity. Yet he's making the biggest decisions. His emotions are out of control, while his risk is at its highest level. And that combination has destroyed countless trading accounts. Dr. Brett explains that if you've ever looked back at a trade and asked yourself, why did I go against my own strategy? The reason is often not the market itself. The real reason is usually the way you responded to stress. That's why the next time you feel angry, frustrated, or disappointed, don't immediately jump back into the market and start fighting it. First, calm yourself down. Take a moment to understand what's really happening. Then make your decision based on your strategy, not your emotions. Because the biggest difference between successful traders and unsuccessful traders is not who experiences more stress. Everyone experiences stress. The real difference is how they respond to it. Dr. Brett says that every trader needs to identify their most effective coping mechanisms. Because when pressure starts building, those mechanisms can protect you from making costly mistakes. And the truth is, everyone's process is different. Some people prefer to sit quietly and think. Some seek advice from someone more experienced. Some step away from their screens for a while. And others write down their thoughts and emotions to gain clarity. Now think back to some of your best trades. The trades where you made genuinely good decisions. What did you do differently? Maybe you spoke with a trusted friend or mentor. Maybe instead of reacting impulsively, you gave yourself time to think. Perhaps you stepped back and looked at the situation from a calmer perspective. Or maybe you treated a loss as a learning opportunity instead of taking it personally. You may have asked yourself questions like, what can I learn from this experience? How can I handle this situation better next time? And sometimes, the best decision is surprisingly simple. Take a break. Give your mind a chance to reset. Allow your emotions to settle. And make sure your next decision comes from clear thinking, not from an emotional reaction. Now think about the times when you made poor trading decisions. Maybe after taking a loss, you jumped into another trade without really thinking it through. Maybe frustration pushed you to increase your risk. Or perhaps you isolated yourself and started telling yourself, maybe trading just isn't for me. Now friends, the purpose of these questions is not to judge you. The purpose is to help you understand yourself better. Because until you understand how you react under pressure and stress, you'll never be able to fully control your emotions. Dr. Brett says that stress itself is not the problem. What really matters is how you respond to it. If you want to stay calm during the toughest market conditions and continue making clear, rational decisions, then you need to identify your most effective coping strategies and make them a permanent part of your trading psychology. Because a trader who learns to manage his mind can handle even the most challenging market environments far more effectively. Now friends, there's another important aspect of dealing with stress: action versus reflection. Some people naturally prefer to take action immediately when a challenge appears. They confront the problem head-on and start looking for solutions right away. Others take a different approach. They pause. They calm themselves down. They try to understand the situation first. And then they take the right action at the right time. The same thing happens in trading. Some traders focus on managing their emotions first. They talk to a friend, a mentor, or someone they trust. They clear their mind and only then make decisions with greater clarity. Others prefer to understand the problem first. They review the data, they analyze the facts, and then move forward with a calm and objective mindset. Neither approach is wrong. The problem begins when stress causes us to abandon the methods that normally work best for us. Imagine you're usually a thoughtful trader who makes well-planned decisions. But after a loss you become angry and immediately jump into another trade without thinking. That's where the cycle of mistakes often begins. Or maybe you're someone who makes better decisions after discussing things with others. But during difficult times, you withdraw and stop communicating altogether. In that moment, you're cutting yourself off from one of your greatest strengths. And that's exactly why identifying your natural coping style is so important. Because when stress levels rise, that coping style can keep you grounded, protect you from emotional decisions, and help you stay on the right path. Dr. Brett says that once you understand which method helps you manage stress most effectively, you become much better at staying balanced even during difficult situations. So ask yourself once again, when you made your biggest trading mistakes, how were you reacting at that time? And when you made some of your best trades, what did you do differently? Because the answers to those two questions often contain the key to your next level of growth. As you start paying closer attention to how you think and make decisions under pressure, certain patterns begin to reveal themselves. You start noticing which habits push you in the right direction and which habits quietly lead you toward poor decisions. Over time, you develop a personal process that you can rely on when things get difficult. Then, even if the market moves against you, or you take a significant loss, you don't panic. You don't make impulsive decisions. You already know how to respond because you've learned how to manage yourself. Now friends, there's another important point to understand. Managing stress is not a single action. It's a process. Dr. Brett explains that when he's in the right mental state, he follows a simple sequence. First he calms himself down, then he regains his focus, and only after that, does he begin looking for solutions. If a trade results in a loss, he doesn't react emotionally. Instead, he tries to understand it objectively. He looks for where the mistake occurred. He examines the real cause behind it. And he asks himself, how can I handle this situation better next time? That question alone is one of the reasons he continues to improve. Because growth doesn't come from avoiding mistakes. It comes from understanding them. But when he's not in the right mental state, his behavior changes. Instead of calming himself down, he starts blaming himself. Instead of learning from mistakes, he tries to escape them. And instead of understanding the problem, he begins chasing new markets, new opportunities and new setups in search of a quick fix. The result? One mistake creates another. And before long, a small problem turns into a much bigger one. That's why Dr. Brett emphasizes the importance of studying both your best and your worst behaviors. Pay attention to what you're doing when you're performing at your highest level, and pay equal attention to what changes when you start making mistakes. Because that awareness is what keeps you on the right path during difficult times. And ultimately, it's what allows you to build stronger and more consistent performance over the long run. So friends, the biggest lesson from this chapter is simple. Stress is not the enemy in trading. The real question is how you respond to that stress. Because many times, the same market, the same situation, and even the same loss can produce completely different outcomes for two different traders. One trader gets carried away by emotions and keeps repeating the same mistakes, while another uses that exact experience as a lesson and comes back stronger. That's why the next time the market challenges you, don't just analyze your trades. Analyze yourself as well. Pay attention to how you're thinking, how you're feeling, and how those thoughts and emotions are influencing your decisions. Because in the long run, your success is determined by more than just your strategy. Your mindset plays an equally important role. A profitable trading system can give you an edge, but the ability to stay calm, disciplined and emotionally balanced is what helps you use that edge consistently. If you learn something valuable from this lesson, make sure to hit the like button. And if you don't want to miss the upcoming chapters from our complete The Daily Trading Code Summary series, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. I'm Priya and I'll see you in the next lesson with another powerful insight. Until then, keep learning, keep improving, and keep trading smarter. Thank you for watching.